Okay, welcome to the Concrete Connection Project podcast, episode 8 today, and we are down trying to create and perform on every single street of the Adelaide CBD, raising money for mental health and mental health organisations that are supporting people that are struggling. And today is a special episode. We're not out on the streets of the city today, we're in the suburbs. I'm here with Margie Fischer from the Feast Queer Youth Drop-In, and she's going to talk to us a bit about that today and what they do down there. So Margie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And how's your day going so far?
Well, it's good. It's good. It's the night after gay bingo. So that's always a bit full on. But I'm going home to email the Cabaret Festival, the winners of the tickets at bingo last night, because the Cabaret Festival donated the tickets, and so people won them as prizes at bingo last night.
Okay.
Good to do.
Well, let's talk a bit about bingo in a second, because you are from the Feast Queer Youth Drop-In. Can you please tell us what that's about and what it's doing for the community?
Okay, do you want to start off with how it started?
Sure.
Okay, so I used to be the artistic director of the Feast Festival, which is Adelaide's queer festival. Mm-hmm. And there was this place called The Second Story, which was a health service, and it had same-sex attracted, because that was what it was called then, drop-in for young, same-sex attracted young men, and then another one for women, and later young women, and then a later one for trans young people. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the funding got cut for that, so nothing was happening. So, and then later the funding got cut for the whole of Second Story, which was a health service for young people. And so I thought, well, you know, I'll start a drop-in. Mm-hmm. I often start things. So I asked the board of the Feast Festival if that was okay, and they said, as long as it doesn't take money away that should be used for Feast. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, I won't ever use money from Feast. And so then I realised, I worked out that I wanted it to be similar to what was at Second Story. So it was between 15 to 25-year-old young queer people, so LGBTIQA plus. See, I can say that really quickly. That because I'm an arts worker, and I wanted there to and creativity and mental health and just life in general is really important. Mm-hmm. So I wanted it to have arts activities and also a support worker, and I wanted there to be dinner, because it was worked out it was every second and fourth Thursdays of the month, because it needs to be regular and it needs to be more than once a month, and there needed to be dinner. So I then found this cafe that was run by Christians, but in a nice, broad-minded Christians, mm-hmm. that was closed at night, and they had a back room that was funky, and had couches and stuff, and they had a kitchen. So that was the perfect place. Yeah. So then I started it with Edwin Kemp Attrell, who at the time was the artistic director of Act Now Theatre Company, which was a social engaged, activist theatre company, which was doing brilliant work and is still doing brilliant work.
And then, so you say you've got a support worker there for the drop-in. How do you find, the mental health and the current state of the community that's coming in there? Do you find the support worker beneficial?
Essential.
Essential?
So we're now in the 11th year of drop-in. So in a strange twist of fate, we are now in the place where Second Story was. So we've come, because now at 57 Hyde Street, it's run by Shine, and there's a whole lot of services in the building, and they have a community room, and that's where drop-in happens. So it's weird because it's now in the same place.
Yeah, so the vision's completed.
I know.
Yeah.
So quite early on, I knew that there would be young people with mental health issues, because being young and queer is tough, and wanting to come to a drop-in would mean that you may have social issues that you felt isolated with. And that became really clear, that they were kids that were had mental health issues, a lot of whom, interestingly, were on the autism spectrum. There were some that came with carers themselves, and there were some that were homeless. There were some, a lot of them are coming to terms with their gender and their sexuality. So that's, if you don't get a lot of support, that's tough. So, and that's why the drop-in was important, from the beginning. So it was pretty clear that there needed to be a support worker. So there was Edwin and I, and we were coordinators together. And so we, between us, knew quite a lot of support workers that were also queer. And so the kind of brief was that they come to the drop-in and basically hang out, and that young people can come and talk to them if they want. Like we at the beginning of the drop-in, we say, this is a support worker, feel free to, come and talk to them. But often the support worker, if there's somebody that is sitting on their own, or it's their first time, or it's pretty obvious that they're having a hard time, so they'll go and sit with them and talk to them, and so we've got a really great, there's 4 of them that, there's a roster of them. So what's really good is that they're consistent, so that the young people that come know that they're going to be there.
And it sounds like it's a nice casual way as well. It's not as if it's a room off to the side saying there's the support worker line up,
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it sounds...
And also the support workers take part in the arts activities, really, because they like the arts activities as well. And then we've also got a really fascinating thing that we realise that a lot of young queer people are attracted to Dungeons and Dragons, which is a role-playing game. First of all, I thought it was to do with actual dungeons and pretending to be a dragon, but it is about the ability to create a different character and then be the character. So we started to have Dungeons and Dragons, and you need to have a kind of facilitator for it. So that was unbelievably popular. So then we got another, 2 people that actually are in a relationship that do Dungeons and Dragons, regularly with young people. So they came, and it's 15 people, young people are doing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're riveted.
Oh yeah, I can. I think that game can take months even.
Yeah. They do. So then now we also employ. Drop-in also employs the 2 people that do the Dungeons and Dragons. So there's the support worker, the Dungeons and Dragons person, and the coordinator, and the artist, which changes, that get paid, and then me and another older member of the queer community do the cooking. Oh, now we've got someone on washing up. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go back a little bit because you do offer the Dungeons and Dragons night and obviously the drop-in and stuff. And
Yeah.
we did talk briefly about bingo. Now, this whole operation is pretty much primarily funded by this bingo night. Is that correct?
That is right. So I started Gay Bingo, I don't know, 15 years ago. And originally it was one of the funding sources of Feast. But when I stopped being the artistic director, I thought I'll just move that over to the drop-in. So Gay Bingo is, you don't have to be gay to go to Gay Bingo, and loads of non-gay people go. And so there's Laurie Bell. There's been a series of compares who are comedians. So at the moment there's Laurie Bell, who has been doing it for a few years. Then there's me on the spinning the ball cage and coming up with the prizes every week.
And coming up with the cool things for each number as well when the numbers
No,
come up?
that's a whole other story. So then there's Ben, who's a sort of queer tech whiz, and between us we came up with the number, with the calls that are alternative. And there's, you know, some tech things. There are images that get projected, which are of the numbers and the things that go along with them. And there's a spinning wheel, and then there's a drag queen who does a it really is very funny, who does a number and also does the spinning wheel, and that's Gay Bingo. Yeah.
And then so
people pay $15 or $10 to come to bingo, and then they pay extra if they want tickets on the spinning wheel, which is $1 a ticket, which is a bargain. And it's at the Milk Bar, which is a cafe that's open especially for us on a Sunday night, so they can get a meal and drinks, and it's a really good vibe. So bingo, how much detail do you want?
No, I think that's great. You know, that we're just getting, you know, just trying to establish that it's that funds these.
It's a circle.
Yes.
So it means, so bingo also pays, because I like paying, if you work in the arts, like paying people's politically and economically vital, if you can, and I can through this whole process.
Yeah.
So the drag queen, the technical person, and the compere get paid. I don't. So that money, apart from, and also the prizes that I get, some of them are donated, but I sort of like go to op shops, and I have got a very good eye for absurd but useful things. So that crew get paid, and the rest of the money goes to drop in.
And then that funds
and then
the
that
support
funds
worker.
the support worker, the artist, the coordinator, and the Dungeons and Dragons facilitators. Yeah.
So for drop-in to be successful, Gay Bingo needs to be successful.
It does, and I sometimes get worried and kind of look. But being in the arts, it's kind of it's normal to be worried.
To that baseline anxiety of if things are going to go well. Yeah. I can definitely agree with that.
But also, I get grants quite regularly. Because I've written grants for so long. So, but they're smaller grants. So the biggest one would be like, well, once I got one for 10,000, but usually they're like between 2 and 5. And then sometimes people like you donate money. And that's always really fantastic. So sometimes people find us and go, that's fantastic. Other times people have fundraisers and donate the money, like roller derby donated money. People have like raffles at their office, all sorts of things. But that makes a difference, because sometimes it's tight with bingo and the drop-in. Yeah.
Yep, so we've got bingo helping facilitate those things, and then some grant opportunities as well. And as you said, people like to
Donations,
donate. So today I'd like to donate $500, particularly because my project, the Concrete Connection Project, is about supporting people that are perhaps struggling with their mental health, and it sounds like the drop-in is a perfect place to do it in maybe not such a full-on way. Have the support worker engaging in around the area for things to be a bit casual. I think is a great touch for people.
But really, you're doing what I do. We're in a simpler way, which is quite good.
Oh, well.
Performing, like being an artist, and then raising money, and then providing work, and mental health, plus fun.
So with the donation like $500, what
do you get for it?
Not what do I get?
No. Okay, so
what's that going to do for you?
I know exactly what it's going to do. So the mental health support worker gets $90. The 2 Dungeons and Dragons people that are support workers also get $90. The coordinator gets $35 an hour, and sometimes they do a lot, so they're rostering people on. Then the artists get depending on how much money I've got and their experience, between $150 and $250. Then the materials that the artist needs, and then there is the food ingredients that we cook. So that's the operation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean.
And then there's the prizes. So, like with my connections, so I always get tickets to the Cabaret Festival, Fringe, to the Adelaide Festival occasionally, loads from the Adelaide Fringe Festival, always tickets from the Feast Festival, tickets from the Palace Nova, and then on top of that, I get donations, which is really, last night I got 2 boxes of stuff, which is fantastic. And also I go to op shops and get things that I consider to be fabulous, and then I convince other people that they're like aprons, metal tins, 1960s kind of ornamenty, usefully, all sorts of things that make people laugh. And then craftspeople also make things for drop-in. It's really, it is, both things are really remarkable.
So $500 may seem like a lot, but it's barely going to fund one week of the operation of all the things that are going on, because this is a free thing for youth to come and join in.
They can donate if they want to, and there's a donation box. And sometimes, and I now really need to, and I do use it for bingo, have one of the squares so I can take credit card payments. But, about $30 each drop in isn't bad, because it goes towards all those things. Yeah. So what is really important to me is that people get paid for their work. And, that's important.
Well, thanks so much for coming to join me today. And, this is a bit of a podcast and a bit of a donation day in one. And I do ask a lot of guests, what do the words mental health mean to you?
Well,
it's a broad one, I know, but
so of course, and also I get really bad depression, so mental health is something that I'm familiar with, but it's under control. It's taken a long time to figure out with the psychiatrists. 2 of them retired, which was really bad. So for the young people at drop-in, so the spectrum of mental health issues, borderline personality disorder, depression, also, just so many, social anxiety, all sorts of recognised mental health conditions, is whatever it is, but also things to do with working out gender and sexuality. So there's a lot of young people that are non-binary that are working out who they are. Sorry.
That's okay.
And that brings a lot of anxiety. So it's a combination of the two. Sometimes physical disabilities as well. So it's mental health is, well, it's such a broad spectrum if you add in gender and sexuality and, like homelessness or not being supported at home. So I just admire, and also just to walk into the drop-in if you are new is so gutsy. I just think young people are marvellous to do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming. And of course, we would love to donate $500 today to the drop-in.
Good. That is, I told the young people it was happening. So they were really, they understand because we explain, not in such length, but so that the young people understand this is not a health service run by the government. So they get it, and that's exciting for them as well.
Oh, well, I'm glad to help. And if you could do one big plug to get anyone down to the drop-in or about bingo, could you give us your best plug?
Well, both of them have got Facebook pages, of course. So the Feast Queer Youth Drop-In Facebook page and the Gay Bingo Facebook page. So Gay Bingo is every Sunday night. And yes, we have an 87-year-old who's so outrageous, and down to some of the young people that come from drop-in, and you have to be, so it's 17 plus at bingo, and everybody in between. Like, it is so remarkable. I get fascinated every week. Yeah. By bingo. And also by drop-in. So, yeah, it's pretty fabulous.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thanks so much for coming today, and
pleasure.
I appreciate the chat. And we'll link down all the Facebook links to those pages as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Margie.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.